Hi guys, Mark Hart again. This would be the fifth part of the Ragdoll tutorial. Right now we're just going to set up the QC. I've already gone ahead and created one. I'm just going to explain what each part means and try not to get you too confused. Because we are using advanced stuff like eye posing, finger posing, and face posing, the script to tell the compiler what to do is going to be quite lengthy and confusing, okay? So I'm going to try and break this down best that I can, explain this to you, and hopefully you understand and can bear with me. Just one thing before I get into the QC. If you're new to QCs, they're just a notepad file, but Valve has named them QC. And normally, if you open your Windows, it'll look like this. It'll have a icon of a program that's unassigned to any program. Okay, so meaning if I click on it, your Windows is going to be like, there is nothing associated with this program. What do you want to do? Okay, so if that happens, you just click on select the program from the list, press OK, and all you're going to do is pick Notepad and make sure Always On is ticked on, then press OK. Okay, and then you'll have an icon of a Notepad, and you'll be able to open a QC like that, okay? Because I'll be sending you guys a QC, and you can just open up mine and then just sub in the parts that you need to change, and you can just use that as is, okay? Maybe one more thing you might want to know is by default, Windows hides the extension from you just to protect you from yourself. If you want to enable extensions, go to Folder Options, go to View, and untick Hide Extensions, okay? Otherwise, everything's going to look like the same thing. It's not going to have an extension. And you want to see extensions just so you know, without clicking on it, what will open, okay? Like, DDS will be handled by a DDS program. A Max will be handled by a Max program. It's, SMD, it's not handled by anything yet, but you know what it is, okay? So having extensions turned on is actually handy and less dangerous than it actually is, okay? I'm not sure why Windows hides everything from you, but you should really unhide extensions, okay? Anyway, we're 3 minutes in almost, and we better get to the QC, okay? This first line here, it asks us where are all the files for our compiler, okay? And they're in here. I have the SMDs and stuff like that, okay? So I'm just going to copy the address from there and paste it between the quotes, okay? This stuff, I'm just going to skip for now. This actually comes from a separate program called QC Eyes. We'll come back to that. Surface prop, I'll just move this up here. Surface prop obviously means if you shoot your model, what kind of sound is it going to make? Is it going to make a flesh sound? Is it going to make a wood sound, a metal sound, glass, so forth? So default, it's loosely flesh, but you can change that whatever you want. Okay. Next line. I'll move that back up again. This line here, it means what will you want to save your compiled model as, and I'm gonna save it as sayoko.mdl. That's what it's gonna export out as. Okay, that's what the compiler is gonna spit out for me. Okay. Again, we're skipping that. Just reorganizing this stuff because I want to skip this part. Anyway, this thing again, CD, it's asking for where is the path for materials, okay? So basically, where are all the materials for our model going to be? So by default, always have it in models, and then you can make a subfolder, whatever subfolder you want to call it. You could even make another subfolder, maybe call it with your username Mario, and keep all your stuff in there, okay? It's just asking the compiler, or telling the compiler where to find the materials. Next line. Move this stuff up. Next line. All this stuff here deals with the 3 SMDs that we exported. If you recall, we exported the main model as reference SMD. So for this line called model, we put reference SMD. Okay, and that's it. And because of our model having eye posing and face flexing, we put two brackets. Inside the brackets, we put stuff for eye posing and face flexing, okay? Again, I'm going to get to that in a minute, so just ignore that. Next one, sequence ragdoll. This is just the animation file that we exported called ragdoll. It was blanked out. We didn't do any animations for it, so this is all you gotta do is just sub in the word ragdoll. Usually it's kept at ragdoll. So yeah, that's for that. And then the last line, collision joint, obviously means the collision model. We named our collision model Fizz model. You just sub that in, whatever the name is, and that's it. The root bone usually isn't important. I could call it whatever, and the model would compile fine. But for argument's sake, our root bone was called pelvis. Okay, you could sub that in. Again, I don't think that's too terribly important. We're gonna have to generate some new code here, and here. That's why I was trying to skip over that stuff. Okay. Now I'm gonna get into the stuff that I was ignoring. You actually generate this from another program. Usually you don't have to. I just want to show you this so you understand where this stuff comes from. Okay, so I'm just going to find our Sdk directory. The Sdk directory is where the Sdk tools are found. Okay, they actually are under your Steam apps under your username, source SDK, bin, and then whatever program you're using. Could be Orangebox, could be episode 1, episode 2, and then under bin again, there are all your tools. I'm going to be using Orangebox because most people are on Orangebox, and also Orangebox is actually a bit faster. Okay. So anyway, we're just going to open QC eyes. Okay, this is an Orangebox in episode 1. It's a pretty handy tool. What it does is it's going to generate the text that we need for our eyes to work. Okay. The only thing you need to do is turn this thing for 3D Max. So platform, 3D Max, and go back to your model. Okay. This is the main model. Go to the eye, switch to edge mode here. You can enter vertex mode. It's going to ask you a question. Just press OK. So now you're in vertex mode. What you want to do is select the center of your eyeball. As you can see, it's not too difficult. There's the center of the eyeball there. There's the vert for it. I'm also going to right click here to get the float. And there's the coordinates for the center of the eye. And we just want to paste those coordinates into QC eyes. Okay. So this is her right eye. Copy that. Paste that in here. Left eye is going to be a positive number because it's on the other side of the axis. Oops. -2. Okay, then press the create QC. It'll sub in the numbers for you. I'm just going to look at mine and sub in the numbers really quickly. If you notice, it's not like a lot of rocket science here. We're just going to copy this here. We're going to paste this over here. This is the only thing that really changed. Just from visual inspection, eye position has stayed the same. It's at 70. Okay. Attachment eyes, that changed, so I subbed in the new numbers. The new numbers are actually the same numbers I put here, obviously. Only it's at 0. It's just telling where the center of the head is. Okay. So anyway, we're just subbing in those numbers. This one stayed the same, so I'm going to ignore that one. So that part of the eyes is done. We're going to scroll down. This isn't for the eyes. This is actually for face flexing. So we're going to skip over to this stuff here. This is the last bit of the eye stuff. Mouth, it's 0, 1, 0. Nothing has changed, so I'm not going to change that. Last area here, you can see that changed a little bit. It's using a valve name here, valve bipped head. That was the name of the head bone for their skeleton. Okay, I've subbed in head because I've called my bone head. You can see I've subbed that in here and even up here too. That's important. If you didn't name your head bone head, if you called it bone 2 or something, you need to resub the name here or rename your skeleton. Okay, so you need to call this bone 2 or whatever. Just make sure that matches up your skeleton. Okay. Yeah. So last part, we're just going to copy that right here, and we're going to paste that here. Right eye is always going to be negative, and this is always going to be positive to tell which side of the axis it's on. So that's it for the eyes. The face flexing, I'm going to cover that in the next video. I think I'm going to run out of time. So I'm going to make another section of this video just to complete the QC and show you how to compile it. But basically, yeah, that's the whole QC of your model. All right. Well, more on that later. Save this. Talk to you later.